Sleep. Everybody does it, but how do we define it? It has been described as a universal need of all higher life forms, including humans, absence of which has serious consequences. In fact, absence of sleep and poor sleep is so important that almost 9 years ago, the Institute of Medicine published a report on the devastating effects of sleep problems. The title of that report was called Sleep Disorders and Sleep Deprivation, an Unmet Public Health Problem. Yet, even though that was almost 9 years ago, sleep disorders continue to plague the health of individuals and society in the United States. Since that IOM report, the World Health Organization the following year categorized obstructive sleep apnea as a major preventable chronic respiratory disease. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention just recently reported that 7 to 19% of Americans state they never get sufficient sleep. In addition, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services has incorporated sleep into its Healthy People 2020 agenda for improving the national health. Okay, so big deal. Sleep health is a national and worldwide problem. We need to fix it, right? But to fix it, we have to know what it is. How would you define sleep? Harder than it sounds, isn't it? It's probably easier to think about what sleep is not, or how you feel when you don't get enough of it, or maybe how you feel when you do get enough of it. But what about healthcare providers? They need to design interventions to promote healthy sleep and healthy sleep behaviors. To do that, they must first understand thoroughly what the concept of sleep means. If you go online or to the dictionary, say, to look up the term sleep, it generally involves some sort of reversible inactivity. For instance, the National Library of Medicine defines sleep as, quote, a readily reversible suspension of sensory motor interaction with the environment, usually associated with recumbency and immobility. One sleep medicine textbook defines sleep as, quote, a reversible behavioral state of perceptual disengagement from and unresponsiveness to the environment. Probably also at some point in our lives we've heard about the different stages and phases of sleep that sleep scientists have described based on brainwaves while we're sleeping. There's also a lot of discussion about why we sleep. What is the function of sleep? We restore things biologically, we know. Pretty much we know that memories are formed when we're sleeping. But that's not even universally agreed upon. Then think about other ways we use sleep in our language. It's oftentimes equated with death, for example. In Hamlet's soliloquy, he talks about dying and sleeping and dreaming and how that's a way to escape from life. Another way in which sleep is equated to death might be, say, when we talk about putting a beloved pet to sleep or joining our loved one in eternal sleep after they've died. Okay, so now it's your turn. Brainstorm, brainstorm, brainstorm. Get ready for the class discussion to do a concept analysis on sleep. We've already sort of started on the first, well, we actually have done the first two steps. We've identified the concept and we've said why we're doing the concept analysis. But we have some steps remaining. We got a good start on identifying various uses of the term. But now it's up to you to keep brainstorming on that. How many ways? How is the term used? What does sleep mean everywhere you think about it? Then from there, as a class, we're going to group together and come up with a list of defining attributes. And we're going to describe a model case of sleep, what sleep would look like if we saw it. We're going to describe some non-model cases. We're going to say what has to come before sleep, what's a result of sleep, and then we're going to, quote-unquote, define empirical reference so that we can operationalize sleep, so that we know it when we see it.